everybody, it's Angel from Halo Inspirations. We give you inspirations to help you spread beauty and joy through your quilting journey. Happy hump day. Whoop whoop. Happy Wednesday to all of you. When you're here, let me know that you're here, and for some reason I don't. There we go. Whoop, not that one. Not yet. Oh, I should have had this one turned on. For some reason it wasn't. But we're here. Hello, Sherry. Hello, Miss Dawn. Hello, Michael Mann. That's Mayhem. I still got to share that story with you guys one day. But hey, listen, a video dropped. It's a long one, guys. And I probably could have sped up a couple of areas, like the cutting. Probably could have sped that one up, but I'm a slow cutter. Y'all know that. So it is lengthy. But I covered just about everything. Let me just say. Hello, Sharina. Glad to see you. You had to pause watching the sewing machine cover video. Oh, well, glad you're here, Sharina. Yes, and that's the beautiful thing about videos. You can pause it and come back. You can fast forward. Right? Especially when you don't need to watch somebody spin a cutting mat 3 times to get the right direction. I was using a really small cutting mat. It is so obvious that I'm not used to it. But I'm glad y'all are here. I want to ask, if you watched the video or if you have watched it, don't hesitate to ask any questions here. That's why I'm here. Now this one's long. And it took a while for YouTube to process the HD, so it was a little bit late. I didn't feel so bad because I noticed some people who come on the same time I do for video drops, they were late today too. So I'm kind of, is it just me, or is it YouTube, or was it just the weather? You know, we were all breathing the same air. So you love the scrappy Quilt As You Go sewing machine cover. Yes, Sherry, you, if I remember correctly, are a Quilt As You Goer. Am I correct? Typically, you like that process. When I did this, I will be honest, I have never made a sewing machine cover in my life. So that's why spoiler alert if you haven't seen the end. So Sharina, spoiler alert. This is the first one that I did. Whoop, this way. Okay. It's got blocks in it, and I'm going to walk through it a little bit on how I did that, because the process, it's put together the same, but of course this has a quilt block in it. So I just want to touch on some ideas in case this is what you would like to do. But that was my first one, and I was so happy with it. But what I did, just like you guys, I've made some buckets and some small bags. And so I have the concept down. But I went and looked, like, I am not even kidding you guys, like 1,000 different people doing it. And none of them really was what I wanted to do. Okay. So I kind of just took some ideas and threw them all together, and it works. And it works really, really well. I'm very happy with the process. And Quilt As You Go, because I know not just Sherry, but there are some of you that really do enjoy. Now, Michael, I am telling you, I don't see Facebook having any comments. So if I'm missing something, let me know, because it might be the way I'm bringing it up. But I know that a lot of you do enjoy Quilt As You Go. And I'm not like, this is Quilt As You Go, but it's still not the ones where we put the blocks together. That's coming, but I have to play around a little bit and actually do one. Okay, thank you, Michael. Appreciate you doing that. So I do see some people are on board. Let us know that you're here so I can say hello. And also, you know, I haven't asked this in a long time, but let me know where you're from. Let us all know. Maybe you'll find somebody next door. You never use the fusible batting with Quilt As You Go. Love the idea. And then Sharina says, I need to make 2 sewing machine covers, so you're excited. Yeah, I made 2. And I will tell you, it goes really fast. Okay. You can do it in a day. Seriously. The longest part is cutting all the pieces. Okay. And depending on how you fuse, if you're using homemade spray base, you're going to have to wait for it to dry. But okay, as far as that fusible batting goes, this was I have used Hobbs fusible batting, which is fusible on both sides. Quilter's Dream is only fusible on one side. And when I talk to them when I place my orders all the time, like I'm on the phone with them. I mean, imagine that, I can talk, right? We're on the phone for more than just talking about the order. Those people are absolutely wonderful, and we just chit chat about all kinds of different things. But one of the things I kept saying to them, oh, you only offer one-sided fusible. What am I going to do with that? They sent me a free sample. That's what I tried to use for this. And I got to tell you, Sherry, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Yes, you're the Cherry Tree, Pennsylvania. I love that name. And you're, from my home state. Know that for a fact. Yeah, about me talking. Yeah, I bet you do. So, what I'm going to do now that I've used it, and I really like this. Now, it's 80-20. It's not 100% cotton fusible. It's not just poly fusible. It is 80-20, and it's only fusible on the one side. So I'm tomorrow going to get some into the shop. It'll probably, well, as long as they have it in, it'll probably be here on Monday. If you're interested in finding it. But if you're not, here, let me show again. If you want it like today, and maybe you can find it on Amazon, I'm not sure. Or maybe your local quilt shop that you can just drive down the road. If they carry Quilter's Dream, they may have it. But it is the Dream Fusible 80-20, okay? And it is a select mid-loft is what I used, which is actually for Quilter's Dream, it's their middle loft. So they have one that is a little bit, what do I say? It's thinner. It has a thin loft. This one's the next step up. It's their medium. And then they have two more. They have a deluxe, which is heavy, and then they have a supreme, which is really thick, and that's so cool. Now, I'm not sure what all lofts this comes in. It doesn't say on the label naturally. So I will look when I go to order it, but I will definitely be getting the select, their mid-loft, because that's the most popular that quilters enjoy. I actually like deluxe. It's a little thicker, but I like quilts that are a little thicker. And the lowest one, the thinnest one, is called Request, and it's not, you can do it on a long arm and you can quilt with it. It's actually been designed for hand quilters, so it's really, really thin. And they say that if you're going to put it on your long arm, to float the top, and if you quilt with it by machine, go slow. Okay, so it's important to note that. You from Utah? I did not know that, Sharina. Wow, that is so cool. You are the only, besides Lori Holt and Riley Blake Design, all those people out there in Utah that quilt. I did not know that you were from there. You're like the first person I know that's from Utah. Well, wow, that's really cool. So we've got PA, we've got Utah, we got people from all over, don't we? Stretch them. Let's go. I mean, here with Virginia, so we're going all over. This is wonderful. But so if you're interested in it, check it out. I will tell you, it's one side fusible. So when I did the side panels, okay, so this is the one I did with you guys. I still don't have it bound because I haven't figured out. I think I'm just going to bind it. I don't know that I'm going to fold it under. But because I did a cross hatch stitch, I went ahead and fused it with 505 for that top layer, because it's only fusible on one side. But I gotta tell you, this one is what I used the fusible from Quilter's Dream with. This one is actually, I want to say it's 100% cotton. So here's the deal. They don't stand up real well, right? Because it just goes over your sewing machine, okay? So it doesn't really need to. But if you want something to stand up, I would encourage you to use, I have it in the shop. It's made by Pellon. There's another company. It starts with a B. That's what I'm trying to remember. I can't remember the name of the company. But it's foam board. And I got to tell you, it's thick. It'll make it more bulky when you go to sew. But I will tell you, it works wonders. It actually is fantabulous, and it's like it's when you sew on it, it's like sewing on butter. And it'll keep its shape all the time. I wasn't concerned about that because I wanted something pretty over my sewing machine, and when it's not, it'll fold up and lay flat and be good to go and hidden, right? So I did want to mention that. Oh, here's one thing. I'm going to bring this other camera in. In the video, I keep talking about making sure that your seam line is not too close, right? And when you do cut them down, you have the opportunity, and when you're laying them out, you have the opportunity, the strips. You lay out the strips, make sure you're good. Then you go to cut down an inch. And when you do that, all of that, it starts with laying it out before you sew. Start it with laying out. You want to make sure that when you're going to cut down that inch, that you're not going to be on a seam or anywhere close to a seam. And I'm going to show you why, okay? All right, I'm going to switch cameras here. Wait a minute, you don't like the bulkiness of the foam? Okay, yeah. It is bulky. It really is. You're absolutely 100% correct. So I'm going to switch cameras. I think I turned off the, oh, maybe I turned it off the wrong screen. The comments, because I want you to be able to see this. Okay, no. Now, normally I have something down here, but I didn't today because I was, sewing with you and getting prepped. But do you see this yellow? Okay. That's a seam. That's part of a strip, and I didn't pay no attention. And on the other side, oh, I got strings everywhere, guys. It's really hard to see, but there's a little brown in there because I actually sewed right on the seam. And what happened, I actually had to rip this corner out. Now, I haven't poked any of them out because I don't care about poking them out. But I actually had it, because it was so close to that seam, the fabric actually came out, and I had to rip this. And I had to, I just ripped, about that much. And I finagled it all back, and then I put it all back under the sewing machine and restitched it. So whenever you go to lay out your strips, you want to make sure that when you go to cut down your measurement, whatever your machine is. So if your machine's the same as mine and you're cutting down to 19 inches, when you go to cut from 20 to 19, you want to make sure you're not going to run into a seam or anywhere close. You want to make sure there's enough room, because this is a no-go, and it is horrible. So that's why I kept harping on it. Okay. So that is my first. I wanted to show you that because it's it's pretty nasty when you have to deal with it. The other thing I did was, in the video, you're basically building it eventually an inch bigger in all the dimensions than your machine. And I only stitched a 1/4 inch. Okay. So mathematically speaking, you should have a 1/2 inch bigger all the way around, that you could probably save when you're thinking about it. I could cut it a 1/2 inch even smaller, because that's the math. The thing is, with all the bulk and with all the sewing, giving yourself that extra 1/2 inch, if you don't sew a 1/4 inch exactly, and maybe you're sewing in between a 1/4 and a 1/2, it gives you that flexibility. And it's not snug as a bug on a rug. Okay, so it goes over really nicely, and it makes it really easy to put on and take off. And I think it looks nice because of that, because there's some symmetry going on with the sewing machine cover being that size and not just right tight equal. So it gave you that extra flexibility. So that's why it's like that. The extra 2 inches that you cut is so that you can prevent some of this. And we're quilting as you go, and it's a method of, you're not measuring, you're not you know, there's no precision. So if you're 1/4 inches off, and like in the video, and my strips were a little wonky at the end, it's okay. And even when I did the panels, I got to pick where I was cutting out my square so that I got nice, pretty, you know, cross hatches, and I got them to be the way I wanted. I didn't have to worry about back stitching. I didn't have to worry if my machine ate one of my corners, right? Because I was cutting it down. So it allows for you to have that flexibility of being more free and not having to worry about any precision to it. And I don't know about y'all, but that was the whole point. Use your scraps. I mean, I hope somebody does this like super scrappy. I just think this would be so cool. I'm thinking about doing one for my long arm. If I do, I'm going to do it super scrappy. That's going to be a lot of fabric though, because the thing is really long, right? But I'm thinking about it, because I think super, super scrappy, where you're just pulling strips out of your stash, I think that'd just be amazing. Because both of mine, they use lines, right? So this was flea market. This whole thing is flea market, and this background in this block is actually cross stitch brown. So it's controlled scrappy. And the second one, the one I did with you, this is Measure Twice by Maywood Studio, or for Maywood Studios. And I had it left over from when I did the weave it all together quilt, where we did the weave block, and I had plenty left over. I want to tell you, I do have, yeah, it is Measure Twice, one fat quarter bundle left in the whole store, along with I think one 10-inch square. Now 10-inch square ain't gonna cover your machine, and like I said, I'm encouraging to use your scraps. That's the whole thing. But if you want something more controlled and you want to go ahead and do something like that, there's plenty of fabric out there. It doesn't take much though, guys. It really doesn't. The biggest amount is probably your backing or your inside. Okay, so just make sure. Controlled scrappy is great also. It is the look of scrappiness. Yes, it is. I totally agree. And that's generally where I go. Except, oh, I had another idea, guys. How cool would this be if it was done in crumb piecing? Yeah, I'm just waiting. Because that might be really cool. Seriously. I'm thinking about that too. I don't need any more. I have one more sewing machine that I actually have down here. It doesn't get used because it got struck by lightning also. Hey, Miss Mary. Oh, thank you, Miss Mary. Yeah, they're all on YouTube. You watch, I'll end up not posting on Facebook anymore because nobody comes to Facebook. They used to come to Facebook because that's the only place we had it, but YouTube seems to be the home, so we'll be talking about that in the near future. But yes, they're all on YouTube, Miss Mary. So I want to just, talk about a couple of things real quick about the different one. Now, like I said, I built them the exact same. Okay, so I'm going to pull this over, and I'm just going to run through a couple of things. When I do this, I want to make sure my light, okay, my camera's going to wiggle. Okay. I don't like to be blinded. Okay. So we did these with strips, right? This is Quilt As You Go with strips. These are 3 inches. The top is 2.5. I did that on purpose because I didn't want to have to worry about matching seams. Oh no. I didn't want, this is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be easy. So if we had to match seams, that would have been a whole different process. Now I got to pull my table back because I'm wiggling the camera. Okay, so this was all done, and you could do the side panels with strips too. And if you take the shortest side, it would be going this way, which would be really cool because, well, it'd be the same as this. That's the only thing, but it would be opposite to your sides. If you did them up and down, it'll be the same to the sides, but opposite to your top. So it just depends on how big you want to cut your strips. You could do this strippy. I chose to just take a fat quarter and lay it on there and cut it out and do some cross hatching, okay? And I did the same thing on the other one. Seriously, the only difference, they're both put together exactly the same. The biggest difference is that I used orphan blocks, okay? This one here is a log cabin. This one is a drunkard's path, okay? They're orphan blocks. I needed to find a place for them. This worked out great. So how did I do this? So I want to share with you guys the first thing. Oh, I didn't put it on the right. See, I didn't know I had to do that. This is a learning lesson. I got to go back to the other side for now because I didn't realize that I have to do each page separate. So I'm glad we went through this because this was a learning lesson. So the first thing that I did is, and I did them with both, I just laid out fabric to see if I liked it, okay? And I don't even know if this is, that isn't, wait, is it? Yeah, that is exactly what I did. Okay, so I laid it out to see what coloring I like and if it would work. Then, what I don't have a picture of, unfortunately, is, let me turn that off, I think. Okay, so then what I did is I had the same panel size. That doesn't change, right? I still measured my machine, cut the panels 2-inch bigger with the backing. It is still Quilt As You Go. I basically laid this out in the middle. I just kind of folded things and kind of eyeballed the middle. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Okay, so just put it on there. And what I did is I ended up with this block. For the Quilt As You Go, I ended up stitching in the ditch. And I didn't want to get crazy with all the circles and everything. So I just did a 9 patch. Let's see. I don't know if you'll be able to see the actual stitching. Yeah, you can see some of it, but it's just a 9 patch in there, okay? So when I did that, so my panel is 20 by 14. Okay, so it was 14 inches tall. This was in the center. So this is a 10.5-inch block. So I basically measured how far from the top of my block to the end was, and how, same down at the bottom, and I cut a strip bigger, 1/2 inch bigger, whatever it was, okay? So, I mean, I might even done a 2.5-inch strip. I don't know. I just made it really simple. I knew a 2.5-inch strip would cover the whole thing. And then I attached this strip, and then I attached this strip, okay? So then I have from the width in the middle, it's finished, okay? And I did cut these strips at 10.5 inches long because I knew this was 10.5 inches. So they were equal. Everything's equal. Got them out to the edges. We're good. Then what I did is I measured from this end to the end of my panel, okay, before it was sewn in. And I actually got, I want to say it was 5 inches. Don't quote me on that, but I think it was 5 inches. Whatever it was, I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to lose a 1/4 inch. If I did 2 3-inch strips, that should work. Because even with a 1/4 inch in there, I should be left with 5.5 inches. Okay. Basically, I cut 2 3-inch strips. I laid it out to make sure it worked. And then I just sewed it just like I did with all of the strips on the top. Okay. And I did the same thing on the other side. I just measured to make sure, because I might not have been perfectly centered. 2 3-inch strips works. And then I didn't have to worry about the 2.5 lining up, because I'm telling y'all, I didn't want to have to deal with that. So I just basically put that strip on just like you're doing on the top. You quilt as you go, and you add your strip, fold it over, I finger pressed, added the next strip, folded over, finger pressed. Now, I did have fabric hanging off, but I just trimmed off the fabric on each side, decided which side I wanted to cut from, and brought it down to 19 inches. And I did the exact same thing on this side. So then I had my 2 panels done, and the rest of this is exactly the same as the video. That's the only difference, is I used a block, and the block actually for this one goes to here. Okay, this is a 4, no, it's a 3. 1, 2, 3, yeah. It's a 3 block log cabin. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So it, and this is the actual log cabin, okay? And I just added a strip at the top to make sure that it would go all the way to the end of the panel, cut off the extra, and did the same thing down at the bottom. It's that easy, guys. Truly. Same method. And I stitched in a ditch in here. So I don't know that you'll really be able to see any of that, but nope, it's hard to see. But it is. It's a log cabin. It's just stitched in the ditch. And so it shows on the other side, which doesn't matter because I ain't turning it inside out because your seams are in there. So it's not inside outable. So, but I wanted something to poke a little bit, and I wanted to give a little texture to it when I did it, and I needed it to be quilted. So I just stitched in the ditch, whatever block. I have other blocks. You could pick any block to do that, and it doesn't even matter the size as long as it fits inside of the panel. Okay, you can use any block as long as it fits inside the panel. I could have used a 6.5. I could go all the way to 14. Now that's a weird number for a block. There's not many of us that make even number blocks before they're quilted. Oh, you could go over, so you could do a 14.5, but then your block's going to go all the way across. But then all you would have to worry about is whatever's left over on the sides. Okay, so you have any side. You could even put multiple blocks together in one, like a 4 patch or a 9 patch, then put them on as long as they fit inside that panel size that you need, and do that. Super easy. I'm telling y'all, it's all about easy. Let me switch cameras again because I can't see y'all's comments. Okay. Oh, there you go. You have an oh, you just went away. You have an extra crossroads, and now you know what to do with it. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Yeah, I mean, it works. You just have to measure your machine first and figure out what your panel size is. You made a rough looking quilted machine cover about 5 years ago. I'll take a picture of it and post it. That'd be awesome. You put a Dresden plate. Oh, see, there's another idea. And listen, that's applique. So if you put it oh man, I can't wait to see that. You could do that a couple of ways with a Dresden plate. You could actually do a full piece of fabric on one of your panels on the side, and then applique the Dresden on, or you could put it on a square that'll fit in your panel, applique it to the square of fabric, and then apply that to your Quilt As You Go. But that's awesome. That is really awesome. What a great block. Oh, so Sharina, you're okay. So my comments went away. So you put in a you're the one that did the 5 years ago. You did a loosey goosey. Yeah. If that, I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe that was Mary. I wish the comments. Maybe I need to figure that one out, Michael. Like if we could have maybe it goes all the way to the top. I don't know if that would work. So I could see more. Okay. All right. Thank you. Oh, Miss Dawn jumped over to Facebook, Mary, and said hi to you. I know you're not there anymore, but just had to share. Okay. So, that's basically how that was done. If anybody has any questions, don't hesitate to email me. Don't hesitate to, in the emails in the description box. It's in, even underneath this live, it's in the description box. You can email, you can Facebook message, you can ask when we're in happy hour, on our Creative Kingdom happy hour. But any way that you would like to communicate, you can drop a comment here underneath this video or underneath the sewing machine cover video, whatever it is. If you have questions, don't hesitate, please, because that's what we're here for. This is a free pattern. It's not even really a pattern. It's just showing you really how to do this in a whole different... I didn't want a lot of math, guys. Now, speaking of math, I will share. I do have the worksheet, okay? So it gives you a little place to write your measurements, making sure you understand what I mean by length. Oh, it's backwards. Length, height, and width. So the measurements show you what I mean so that you can understand when we get down here to make sure that you have the right size panels cut to start it, okay? But that, I just wanted to put that out, and it is under our website, under the inspirations tab. The description box does has the exact link, so it's on top because there's a metric ton free on that page, and sometimes it's a little hard to find. But if you're watching this fresh, okay, 18 May, before the 25th, I don't know if, oh yeah, there'll be something else added on the 25th. So 18 and 7, yeah, that's right, 25th. It'll be the top one, okay? So it's really easy to find, really easy to use, but it helps you get those measurements, gives you a place of reference. Oh, and guys, in the video, I did say, and I'm not even kidding, you can look your stuff up on Google. You can look up your machine. You can go to your manufacturer's website. You can go to sewing machine websites. You can get the measurements for your machine. Now, I measured anyway to see how well I did and to see if, in fact, they really do put the real measurements. Not gonna lie. It was like, little test there. But it works. So if you have a friend and you know what machine they have, you can make it as a gift. Super easy, super fun, and you don't even have to be in the same state. If you know what your BF quilty friend makes or uses, you can make her or him their own sewing machine cover. I thought that was really, it just dawned on me whenever I was searching for the measurements. I thought, oh, I can make my mom one. She's not here today, but hey, if she watches the hashtag replay, she might, I know what machine she has, so I could make her one. So, just an FYI. I talked about the foam board. I talked about the math and showing you the seam that you don't want to do. Now, what note is that? I have no idea. I wrote a note to myself and I don't know what it means. Do you ever do that? So, yeah, that's really what I got. If there's any questions, again, you can ask them here, or you can definitely drop them in the comments below, or send me an email or Facebook message. I'll get back to you. But yeah, that's all I got for this. I know that's a lot. I know the video is long, guys. And like I said, there were places that, I probably could have sped up. And if my son actually edited that video, he probably would have quieted me and fast forwarded it. But it'll be good company. You can have it running in the background. You don't even have to hear it, but look up every now and again when you want to see, or you can just pause it and fast forward and rewind. And I hope you make these. If you do make one, please share one with me. I'd love, love, love to see that. Oh, yeah. Love to see what your creative mind does, because this allows so much flexibility. It really does. Yeah, I do talk a lot. Thanks, Michael. But that's it for today. I'm just trying to get back on Facebook, but for some reason it just shut down. I will also, oh, and it's gone. Look, it's not even there right now. Don't know why that is. Oh, it's back in the background. I don't know if y'all have a, what am I using? An Amazon, I don't know what it's called. What is it called? Fire. It's a tablet, but it's a Amazon Fire. I think that's just it. And they have a Facebook app, but it's like light. It's different. It's really different and really crazy. But, okay, I found everything. Whew. Everything's good to go on Facebook. Everything is good to go on YouTube. You're very happy that you showed how to make this cover. Now I can make a nice one. Yeah, I look forward to that, Miss Mary. Let me know. And, you know, the first Wednesday of June, if you give me permission, I'd love to be able to share your projects on YouTube for our Cherub Chit Chat. So if you make one, just let me know if I can share it. Because I would love, love, love. Even if you didn't, even if you've made one that isn't necessarily this method, and you've already made one, and you're you know, like I am, I'm like, oh, I'm really proud of this because I made it. You know how we get, right? Don't hesitate to share that, and let me know if I can share that too, because it, you know, this whole thing is about inspiration, and it's trying to inspire each other, because that's what quilters do, right? That's what we do for each other. We inspire each other, and then we help each other, and we cheer each other on, and, you know, we become a positive force behind each other so that you can continue to spread beauty and joy in the world. So, absolutely. And let me know, Sharina, if you have any questions. It's a long one. Buckle down, girly. But I will definitely see you all next week. We do have another, it is a small project. I'm kind of excited about it. And it's different. Okay. So, that's why I get excited when I think of something different, and I can't wait to share. But we'll have another small project next week. And this week on Saturday, we will be doing happy hour inside Creative Kingdom. And I will be doing, I don't know what I'm doing. I think I'm doing either Michael's. No, I'm doing block of the month that I've been working on my personal project. So bring your projects. Look forward to seeing you inside happy hour at 3 p.m. I'll be there. Hope you're there. If you are available, the live will be alive, and I hope to see you there. But until next time, guys, until next week, may you all continue to be inspired, productive, ever so joyful, never stop believing, and never stop making your dreams in quilting come true. I love y'all. Happy sewing machine cover making. Happy quilting. I'll see y'all soon.